defeat. But behind closed doors, I'm a fool for your love.
If you're anything like me, you have seen the word defeat come across your screen in slow motion over and over again this season. With every passing loss, the will to live slowly becomes more and more daunting. Images of mercy-boosted Pharahs and Ana-boosted Genjis slowly creep into your nightmares where they lie in wait, ready to ult you when you least expect it. For me, Day 1 of Overwatch Season 4 went very well. I made it to Diamond the first night. Day 2, I hit my season high of 32, or about 31-22. Day 3, ended in tears, and now 2 weeks later my SR has dropped 500 and my self-esteem is at an absolute all-time low. My girlfriend's about to leave me and my life could not be going worse. And just to clarify, she's leaving me because of my SR, not for other reasons that I don't need to get into. Now, we all know by now the ways of trying to overcome a losing streak. You know, we've tried stopping and taking a break. We've tried going and playing quick play and trying new heroes or trying to get better at your heroes. We know that we could alter our team comp to better suit a meta or to counter another team. I have tried all that this season. I'm sure you guys have too. And I still have had issues getting that W or getting a victory to come across my screen. So this video is going to be a little rant. It's going to be a tribute to everyone who has had the word defeat come across their screen over and over and over again this season, Season 4. Now, and this is just going to be my opinions, just FYI. This is not going to be a scientific fact or, you know, this is not going to be a statistically based video of what's going on in Season 4. This is going to be my opinions on what the hell I think is going wrong in Overwatch right now that is causing me and everyone I know to lose a whole lot more. And the first thing that I think is causing this is this smurfing, and we've talked about smurfing a ton of times. It has been a highly discussed topic across all of YouTube. It's been discussed by Jeff Kaplan, it's been discussed by all the Overwatch team devs, and I believe it's kind of come to a peak this season, no matter how much they've tried. And while some of the smurfs that I come across in the matchmaking are good, you know, sometimes you'll get that Smurf Genji who was only played Season 4 for 50 minutes, but he's a Genji and he has a 37-8 kill death, or he has a 37-8 average as Genji, and you're like, oh, I guess smurfing isn't so bad. It might get us a win. But more often than not, these are just trolls and Torbjorn mains who attempt to put turrets up in the opposing team's spawns while emoting immediately next to it or jumping off the cliff over and over again. And I think this is a combination of several factors that are leading to this. One, an increase of that minimum game requirement is like most likely a secondary factor. Back in the beginning of the season, before it started and that initial change came out, people were thinking that it was going to make a lot more smurfs into the diamond. And I do believe that's true, but those are normally smurfs that are like, they were a 3,500, but they just kind of let their account decay, and now they're in a 3,000. So those are still players who played at an advanced enough level, and a level above where you're at. So, while they may be smurfs, and maybe they'll even go Hanzo, or maybe they'll go, you know, a player that you don't really want on your team, they're still going to be skillful enough to kind of know their environment and to be able to look around, and they're not just going to be running around with their heads cut off. So those smurfs are just not who I think I'm concerned with. I don't think they're causing the issue. Now, what I think the real issue is that these players have found that and realized that it's easier to hit diamond and to get to these high levels when you start a totally new account. And, you know, people who are frustrated because they've been in bronze for the past 3 seasons are just making totally new accounts and somehow getting into diamond and getting into gold and getting into these high platinum ranks when they really don't deserve to be there. They've been in bronze and they've been in silver for the past 2 seasons, but they're sick and tired of it because they think they're better, but they're really not. They're just kind of taking advantage of how the placement system works. And it's causing things to just be awful because I've gotten into several games where I'll look and for Season 1, 2, and 3, these players are, you know, silvers and they're golds, and somehow in Season 4, they've made it all the way into diamond, and that's just not right. And these players are just it ruins the game because these players are just not fundamentally on the same level as anyone else. They just use a flawed system to get there. And when you get them on your team, it just puts you at an immediate 5-on-6 advantage, and it's almost like the other team is playing with a one extra player because your guy is running into the point alone. He's not grouping up. He just has no idea what to do because he has not played on that competitive level that you're in. And there's something that needs to change about that, whether it's that Blizzard limits your account to only one main account, or that if you're a super low level, you get placed with other super low, non-prestige levels. Whatever they have to do, that's something that I've run into a ton this season, and there's just something funky going on about it that I think is kind of causing a huge disconnect with my matchmaking. Now, this one doesn't really apply to you PC players, but for everyone who's on console like myself, the OP Bastion totally screwed my first month of the season. And I found this out watching another YouTube video. I think it was Frito and his channel. But the first Bastion patch that came out happened, that left him with a 35% damage buff, essentially meaning he took 35% less damage when he was sitting in his overpowered turret mode, when he could just fire 300 shots down range and immediately take out a Reinhardt shield and literally everyone on your team without even breaking a sweat. Add that to the fact that he's now self-healing and can get away from everything and heal at the same time. And then the popularity of adding a Pocket Mercy to him was just absolutely insane. Bastion just didn't die, and he became damn near the most annoying thing since those little mosquito noises people played on their phones during class. Those noises that only the kids could hear and the teachers couldn't, and then when you were like screaming that your ears were about to fall off, the teacher's like, oh, I can't hear anything. That noise, that's essentially how I'm going to describe the Bastion patch that they added in the beginning of the game. And the thing is, Blizzard acknowledged that this was wrong. They looked at the gameplay and they looked how it affected it, and they said, well, we probably did that a little too much. He's probably too strong. Let's throw that back to 20% and make him a little more killable, because before the 35%, there were several times in the game where I'd get behind the Bastion as a soldier, fire an entire clip, fire a helix, reload, start firing another clip, and he had time to heal through it, turn around, and then my face. But Blizzard then changed it, but then only on the PC. They were only able to put out the patch to nerf him on the PC because of how difficult it is to kind of roll out patches on consoles. And that is a huge just pain, and that is a huge kind of smack in the face. Because, Blizzard could have probably put out a patch, within a week or so for just to fix Bastion. Because if Bastion had been fixed, who knows where I would have been this season. I could be all the way up in a 3200. We have no idea, and I will never know. But I'm going to say most of my losses were because of these mercy-boosted Bastions, and that there was no way to kill them. But to leave that mistake, to leave that huge overlooked mistake in the game for a month after you've already corrected it on another platform seems like just a huge overlook for Blizzard. And I don't know why they decided to do it. I don't know if they just wanted to add that into a larger patch because they knew it was coming along, but it just killed my gameplay, and it just killed it totally just killed my want and my desire to play the game for the month that was left. And it's over now. And it's amazing because I've only seen Bastion twice now played ever since they put that patch in. It has changed the gameplay so immensely, but that is one thing that I think I'm going to remember forever of the tragedy that started Season 4 in the Bastion buff. But I digress. Moving on. The next thing that I want to talk about is matchmaking, and I don't know if it's just me, but have you guys ever been in a party of 3 playing competitive, and you get into that team building lobby where everyone's picking their player, and for some reason you get a Widow or Torb on the attack, and no matter what, they won't change. You go to their player profile, and they're a Torby main this season. They've played 150 hours of Torb, and 13 minutes of Widow, and that's it. And then you're thinking, how the hell do I end up with these randoms? And then you get in the game, and on the other team you see a Genji who was a 3900 last season, but somehow he's a 33, and he's essentially just been a random assigned to this team who's already a 4-stack. And I feel like this has happened so much this season. This has been the case for me all season. And there was a solid day where every time I got into a game, it was a guy who picked Hanzo, or he picked Torby, or he was picking Widow, or he's picking McCree, but he's never played these players before, and I'm just assuming they're guys. But they've never played these players before, but of course when they get into the game with us, it's time to try someone new and competitive that they've never played. And then, this happened to me earlier in this season. I was rolling solo into a competitive, like, I was trying to level up. I wasn't having any success running with 3s or 4s, so I was like, I'm going to try to solo queue it. And I got into a game, and of course I get into the game with a Widow. And PC players, fine, you know, it's a Widow. Widow's good on PC. This is console. Widow's useless in 12 out of 13 cases. But we get matched with the Widow, and she's like, you know, I only play Widow or Mercy, but I'm going to play Widow because I think I'm going to get a pick. She got no picks, died like 7 times, and we lost. We got absolutely steamrolled because she played Widow on attack and defense. So, frustrated and discouraged, I go into matchmaking again. I'm like, okay, I can't possibly get another Widow. Things have to go better. Well, I get stuck with the same exact Widow, and we are on a 2-point capture point map where you can't even see anyone. There's no line of sight to even play Widow, but of course, you know, Widow was the choice. So she plays Widow yet again, and we lose again. But I can't fathom how someone like myself, I got matched up with a random who was like a golden below. That player had never been in Diamond until this season, ever. Like, didn't even get close, was at least 500 SR every season away from Diamond until now. And then somehow ended up in Diamond Season 4. And then the other team gets these diamonds that are so high, and then how do I get matched with the same Widow? Out of the thousands of players who are on, out of the tens of thousands of people I could have got paired with, you put me with the same Widow that I just lost with? And why not be even, at the very least, have her on the other team? At least then, yeah, fine, I'm in the same game with her, but not on the same team. We just lost together. Why in God's name am I getting paired up with her again? It's just things like that. It's like I always seem to get paired with the auto-lock Hanzo and Torbjorns and Widows, and the other team gets the Pharah Mercy combos who most likely are borderline pros. And this is where I'm going to end my little rant before I have a brain hemorrhage. And I hope you guys, you know, relate to this somewhat. I hope you guys kind of understand where I'm coming from with this. Otherwise, I'm just that one little weird kid who's complaining about something no one else understands. So, if you enjoyed the video, like and subscribe. It helps us out a ton. As always, stay achieving, and we're going to see you at the next video.